This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time. Content presented in the following podcast is for information purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guest and may not represent the views and opinions of the Whole Care Network. Always consult with your physician for any medical advice, and always consult with your attorney for any legal advice. And thank you for listening to the Whole Care Network.
Hello, my friend. This is A Time to Care, the Caregivers podcast, and I'm your host, Isabel Melgarejo. Welcome today. Have you ever felt annoyed by someone telling you that you need to take care of yourself before you take care of others? I do all the time. And probably you've been annoyed at me sometimes for saying that. But today I'm going to tell you how to actually achieve those moments. So let's get started. I've been reading a lot of comments from different caregivers. There is something that goes for a lot of you out there, that how are you going to take time for yourself when there is so much going on? Right? Have you heard that? Have you felt that? I'm pretty sure you have, otherwise you wouldn't be listening to me. Here we are. We have all of these things going on. We have thousands and thousands of things to do. Oftentimes, we don't have time for ourselves. We don't have time for self-care. When people talk about self-care, for the most part, they think about the big picture. Taking 2 hours off to go to the spa and get a mani and pedi afterwards, or take a week off and go to the Caribbean on a cruise, or fill in the blank. Whatever it is like we go through the big picture, and then we have all of these lists that people have of things you can do. And it is basically a checklist. You have to walk. You have to move. You have to eat well. You have to yada, yada, yada. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you can go online and find huge checklists of things you can do to provide care for yourself. And sometimes that feels like another chore to do. Because it is sometimes a chore. Am I right? Or am I the only one who thinks that it could be a chore? I was researching for this podcast and I came across this therapist, and I loved an article from her that I want to share with you because I really think what she writes is great. So first of all is finding something that you do for yourself on a daily basis. Every single day you find something to do for you, and something that is going to ground you, something that will just set your time and space for you. This is something that is really important because it's not about checking all the boxes. It's about finding the things and the activities that will help you ground yourself in reality and will give you the strength to keep going. And yes, you can find time to go to a spa and you can find time to do all of the things. But I know that sometimes as a caregiver that is very tough because you don't find time, you don't want to, you don't have the energy or the budget or whatever. You just want something that is there and that's easy. She mentions 5 things to figure out. And the first one is what soothes your senses. Your sense of smell, your touch, something pretty to watch. We had a few weeks ago in the podcast a whole conversation about music. That is talking with our senses. I will refer that podcast here as well so you can go back and listen to it. But what soothes you? Like, it's whatever makes you feel very grounded. It can be music, it can be something you see. You can go online and watch paintings from the Louvre. I don't know. There are so many ways, but just think about things that soothes your senses. For me in particular, I love museums. I love watching art and I love experiencing art. The second topic is what eases your mind. This is more into the meditation kind of thing. There's people who hate meditating. Not everybody has the time for that. Maybe that's not for you. Maybe you like journaling. Maybe you like building something. Who said you can't play with the Legos when you're older than 12? Nobody. And by the way, I've bought Legos for adults because I like them. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe you like Sudoku or anagrams. I don't know. There's tons of things that just ease your mind. Some of them are very methodical, others not, but you can just start playing with it. Go through it. Figure out what eases your mind. Another thing that you should be paying attention is what allows you to expend excess energy or keep your hands busy. So this has to do a lot with movement. I know that not everybody likes working out, and I know that not everybody has a full hour to work out. Movement, it can look very different for everybody. As I mentioned, it can be working out, but it could also be stretching and having a stretching routine and taking 1 minute to stretch in the morning. You don't need to do a whole yoga practice. You can just stretch. Or maybe even you can play with one of those squeezable balls that will keep you moving. I hate those balls, but maybe you love them. Just because I don't like them doesn't mean that they are not soothing. And as I mentioned, this is for everybody. And there are things that soothe some people, and maybe you are not that kind of person. Another thing that I saw in her article is about something that reminds you that you have a lot of value. I personally love this. When COVID started, I noticed that, and probably everybody noticed, like this is probably common knowledge. But when people stopped going to the office and moved to work from home, people stopped paying attention to themselves. This is actually very sad because we stopped doing things for ourselves that elevate ourselves. And at the time, my cousin had recently launched fashion brand with she had the worst timing because she launched this brand 2 months before COVID. All of her clothes were like work clothes. She was promoting creating, like dressing up even if you were at home. Actually, I think that's a great idea. You don't have to go somewhere to dress up and be pretty. You can wear makeup just because you like it. You can wear the fancy dress just because you like it. You can choose whatever that makes you feel amazing. A lot of people never wear their fancy jewelry because that's just for special events. They are not. You can wear them at home just because you love them and they make you feel special and valuable. You can decide to I don't know. There are so many things that you can put on yourself to make you feel valuable. I think that's very important. When I was a professional organizer, some of the things that I noticed with my clients is that they would never pay attention to their own underwear because that was not important. Nobody would see their underwear, and you see your underwear. And being that the most intimate piece of clothing that you're putting on yourself, I honestly think that you need to pay attention on putting the best underwear on you every single day. From a very young age, I decided that all my underwear was going to match. And probably that was part of me being very freaky with things not matching. But today, every time that I wear nice underwear, I feel great. That also means that you have to wear clothes that fit you. Why would you suffer with clothes that are too big or too small? Or with fabrics that don't feel right? Make yourself a favor and start paying attention to what you put on your body because it is important. That will give you a lot of value. And even just wearing perfume, a lot of people don't like it. I love it. And I wear perfume every single day, even if I'm staying at home all day long and nobody's going to smell me. But for me, that's very soothing. Every morning after I shower, putting perfume on and just smelling nice because I can. The final part is finding connection. So how do you connect? Maybe you have groups, maybe you have support from professionals, you can text friends, but make sure that you figure out how you connect with other people out there. You can do this either online or in person. And just remember, like in this same episode, we talked about even watching concerts online. And this is important because you connect with people in so many ways. You can connect with them. So start playing, and you might even want to go on ChatGPT and ask for ideas on any of these groups and how you can figure out a way in which you ground yourself with easy activities that are either very low cost or free, that are easy and achievable for you. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but this is part of the self-care, and the first step is figuring out the things that ground you. For me personally is walking outdoors. That really grounds me, and I prioritize that. I prioritize every morning walking with my dog, and when I feel very stressed or angry, I go for a walk, even if it's 110 degrees outside. And even those walks are shorter for sure, but those walks really calm me down, even if it's just a few minutes that I'm outside and roasting. Or it could be a very long walk, but it's just finding that thing that grounds you. Another thing that really grounds me is sometimes just yelling. Find those things that ground you and start playing with them. Start paying attention to how you feel after you do them. Once you know how you feel when you feel stressed, start making and practicing one of these things and let me know how that went. Because this, my friends, is how you start your self-care journey. Not by doing the big things out there or checking all of the things on the checklist. It's by finding what you really need in those moments. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please leave us a review. They mean the world to me, and they allow other people like you to find us. So if you have a minute, please go and review us. Talk to you next week.
This is the Whole Care Network. helping you tell your story one podcast at a time.